Hey everybody, it's Norman Greenbaum, me, and we're here with my new podcast, Going Greenbaum. And as you know, you can find us, and especially me, on YouTube channel Norman Greenbaum Music. So hello everybody, we're finally here after some technical problems and some COVID problems, and we just kept on getting delayed, but everything's fine now. Glad to be here and enjoy. So, one of the things we're going to be doing is going over my music, how it started with my newer producer at the time after I did Dr. West's Medicine Show, and I was living in Hollywood, and how I got rediscovered there and started the journey to record with the new producer and move up to Northern California and record Spirit in the Sky, which was written in Hollywood in between all these things. And so today we're going to play the first song that he heard us do when my band at the time. Although I was a single artist, but I had a band, and that's how it was put together. And we were playing at the famous, of course, Troubadour in West Hollywood. And this gentleman was there. I came backstage afterwards. He introduced himself, Eric Jacobson, producer of The Lovin' Spoonful. And as we know, uh, they had, many, many, many hits. So he made that impression on me. This guy's for real. And we talked. He says, I like you. I like your music. I like the way you look. I like your presentation. I'm a producer and I'm in Northern California. I record in San Francisco and I'd like to sign you. And let's get together. Uh, I'll come back down to LA and we'll talk. And he did. And we went over some songs that, again, I played acoustically at my little rental, and some songs I didn't do. And we came to the conclusion that we could work together. And that started my whole journey into Spirit in the Sky. So we're going to start today and play the very first song he produced. Unfortunately, it was a flop. However, it got both of us started, and we knew where to go because uh, it wasn't the right one, but it sounded a bit like The Lovin' Spoonful, so we're going in that direction. And it's called School for Sweet Talk. And here you go.
I just opened up a school for sweet talk. Yes, and everything's cool, it's tip top. If you want to get the girls without any trouble, better come down to the school on the double, and I will show you how to do the right thing. I will show you what to do if you're a shy one. I will show you how to woo the girls and have fun. If you want to get the girls without any trouble, better come down to the school on the double, and I will show you how to
that was it. School for Sweet Talk, and that was the first song I ever recorded with Eric Jacobson producing. And we did that in San Francisco at Coast Recorders. And singing backgrounds on the song were the Hot Licks, who were the girls behind Dan Hicks and Dan Hicks and the Hot Licks. And they were all up in the San Francisco area. And the musicians that played on that track were from the South with Camel, and the South with Camel was one of the bands that Eric was producing at the time. You might remember them. They had a hit called Hello, Hello. And so it was all pretty much everyone that knew each other and went well. And I hope you have some positive thoughts on that. Not the greatest song, but it got me started, and that was that. And so one, over time when you listen to your own stuff and you go back, and go, what did I do wrong? What did I sound like? Gee whiz, we could have done that better and all that. So I always listen to myself with at that time I still had my Boston accent. That's I'm from the Boston area, and it always comes back to me, especially when on the Super Bowl they did the commercial with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and for the car commercial insurance, and he said good neighbor, and it cracked me up because my accent on one of the lines of the song was 70 or better. So, because in Boston you kind of drop the R's at the end, and you stick them in somewhere else at another time, and make it even more difficult for people to have any clue until they get used to it or don't care. So anyway, unfortunately, it wasn't a hit, but it didn't deter us or stop us from going on with the project. We did have a recording deal with Warner Brothers Reprise, so it was on to the next. It was on to the next one. Kind of an interesting song. Uh, Back then, I don't think. Well, it probably was like there's always been a school for something. You went to school, you went to college, that was school. You went to school to learn how to be a hairdresser, uh, et cetera, et cetera. So there always was a school. And guys, they get together after they meet a girl, how'd it go? And they go, I just kept saying the wrong things, and she just didn't like it. I go, well, we need a school for sweet talk. And being the writer that I was, that's what I came up with. And I go, God, that'll that might make a great song. And so I wrote that song, and there was it. Well, that was it, and there it was. We had fun recording it, and we presented it. It was released as a single. We were working on the album, but we put that out as the first single. Eric really liked that song, uh, but as I said, didn't go anywhere. And but at the same time, we had as I was transitioning into rock and roll. Of course, when it was Dr. West and the Medicine Show and Junk Band, we were doing jug band music, except it was all original by me. I was the main writer and singer of the group. And interestingly enough, we had a semi-hit called "The Eggplant That Ate Chicago," and kind of an oddball song, but I was an oddball writer at the time. I think deep inside of me, I wanted to be a comedian, but I found myself writing songs, and I didn't mind getting up on stage and singing different things. Uh, those days there were quite a bit of folk singers who had started out in college. I was going to Boston University and, you know, playing at open mics at the folk clubs. And that's how I got started. But I really liked jug band music, and I didn't like singing, the, the songs that everybody else did at the time, and they were just standard folk songs. So I said, I'm not really liking it here. I think I'd like to move to Hollywood, where I believe there's more of a rock and roll scene going, but still maybe there's room for a offbeat band. And of course, Hollywood was the place for offbeat anything, I would say. And I met people when I got there, and we put that band together. We we got discovered. A neighbor who used to listen to us rehearse in the same building said, "Hey, I know somebody. Maybe he'd be interested in managing you." And so we went down to his office and we auditioned. Now, besides just doing what you would call offbeat songs, we painted our faces and dressed funny, I guess that was a way to put it, and had a light show. And we were one of the first bands that had a light show and painted their faces long before Kiss. So we actually we got signed. We were playing folk clubs in and all around L.A. And we were getting like a little bit well known because we were way different. And it was the time when the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band and Jackson Brown, a bunch of other groups like that were getting started. So we fit in because we were acoustic, but we stood out because we were Dr. West. And I used to do skits, so the comedic part of me came out in the skits, and I had little vials of Dr. West medicine and did all these funny little things, and in between sang songs about it and other songs, and that was the way I started. We went on tour. The song got number 50 or so on the Billboard charts, and that was pretty good for such a weird band. And actually, one song was called Weird, and that was pretty good. So we were doing well, but we ran up against walls, and we didn't fit in, and things were changing quickly. And I reached a point where I wasn't sure. I just wanted to keep doing that. I was satisfied that I was known, and some of the other people in the band, they wanted to actually go do other things also. So the band kind of left each other, and I stayed as the band, and we got some new musicians, and we went on with that. And again, I was losing interest in it. We didn't paint our faces anymore or have the light show, and we had added electric instruments and electric fiddle and real drums and real bass and all that. We were doing washed-up bass and playing junk for rhythm and acoustic guitars. And but we did pretty good touring, and I became well known more than the band itself. But I decided I think I wanted to do rock and roll. And we progress as what we start in our garage or somewhere, and we hope to sound okay, and then audition somewhere and play somewhere, and people go, oh yeah, that was great. And you keep going, and then you get a gig and you play, and then you're hired back and you feel great, and the band is getting along, and you get a contract and you get on the charts, and that all of that happened to me and the band, but it kind of withered out, and so I decided to leave that and then form another band as lead singer and go into rock and roll. So Instead of playing acoustic, I got myself a electric Fender Telecaster and got started playing more rock music. And that's how everything started. And that's how we wound up doing Skull for Sweet Talk. Those days in LA, it was like 68, and so many artists were starting to bloom and formed the groups that are the single acts, the groups, the bands that would become, the Eagles and the Flying Burrito Brothers and all sorts of acts back then. And of course, there were the rock acts that played the Sunset Strip, like the Seeds and Johnny Rivers, and they played the Roxy and the other clubs there, uh, which we did too. And as I said, so I got discovered, and I agreed that I would do a School for Sweet Talk, and let's see how it goes. It didn't do well, but I did have the opportunity to then get into my own other music, which was much more upbeat. And next week we're going to go over another song. I think we're going to do um, Junior Cadillac, and it gave me the opportunity to bring in some horns and go into a whole other direction there. I mean, I was blooming at this direction, that direction, and so it became kind of interesting recording all these different things. And of course, they went over much better leading up to Spirit in the Sky, which we'll talk a lot about in a few weeks. And so, as they say, stay tuned for that. And if you have, oh, well, if you're seeing this, we're not live with the comments yet, but if you'd like to send in some questions, you can go to Norman Greenbaum website, which is spiritinthesky.com, and you'll find a spot where it says contact Norman, and fill that out and send me a note. If you have a question, we'll try to answer it the next week. And that would be great. I appreciate that. If you're living anywhere near Petaluma, California, we'll be doing the Butter and Eggs Parade on April 20th, 420 as it's called, if you know what that is. And but it's the Butter and Egg Days. Petaluma once was the chicken capital of the world, and eventually I will get to my CD, which I did, and it was an album called Petaluma, and it's all about living on the farm that I had for a while. Some people thought I was a goat farmer doing music, but it was the other way around. Uh, it was just something I did with my wife at the time, and she wanted to farm a little bit more than me, and she raised the animals for the most part, and I helped when I was there. And but we recorded that album after Spirit and Sky, and so we'll be featuring that Butter and Eggs Day parade. We've got a Lincoln Continental convertible that will be in, and will be in the parade, and then we'll have a booth afterwards, and I will be having that CD uh, for purchase, along with my Spirit in the Sky original CD with some extra tracks, and the Best of Me with more tracks, and a rare one, which is called what is it called? It's called the Definitive Anthology with lots of tracks. It's 2 CDs, and I've got the last of them that will be not continued to be pressed. And our newest piece of, well, it's Norman Greenbaum Strings, and my best friend is the manufacturer of Black Diamond Strings, and he's local here, and he will be there with me, and we will have Norman Greenbaum strings for sale. Have pictures to autograph. I'll talk to you and all that kind of stuff, and well, have a good time if you're anywhere near there. Come by. If not, we will be taking videos of it all, and we'll put that up in the near future and show everybody what we did. And we're not going to paint our faces or look silly, although we still might. Who knows? When you're in a parade, you're allowed to be silly. And look for that. Come by if you can, and we'll have all these things for you. If you do buy a Norman Greenbaum strings, we have a surprise for you, and I can't tell you what it is. It wouldn't be a surprise, but I can guarantee you will like it. So thanks for coming by. This is our first podcast finally. We we hope to get better in the future. Uh, there's a lot of ahs on my part. I haven't done things like this for quite a while, but it can only get better. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.